What's up, everybody? My name's Big Cam and welcome back to another 1/6 scale figure unboxing, and today we're doing a bit of a third-party figure, and this is Soosoo Toys Hero Lawyer, which obviously is Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, but in his lawyer outfit. And I'm very curious to see a suited and booted Matt Murdock look, and I'm also curious to know if the other head sculpt of Matt Murdock that I have from Hot Toys is better than this head sculpt or not. But definitely still wanted to have just a normal lawyer version of Matt Murdock, not just in his Daredevil suits. So, he's got the Matt Murdock side of things going up against Wilson Fisk, and then he's got the Daredevil side of things going up against Kingpin, Just on the front of the box there, a little bit of Matt in his lawyer outfit, and the, of course, red glasses on his head sculpt there. Nothing too crazy. A little bit of New York around the side, some legal information around the back. This is Soosoo Toys 034 1/6 scale collectible figure. Obviously this is Hero Lawyer, but this is also Hero Lawyer 2.0. So a couple of 2.0s from Soosoo Toys this weekend. And if you guys missed yesterday's unboxing, that was for the Boss Man 2.0 from Soosoo Toys, or Kingpin from his look in Hawkeye, which is cool, and I liked that suit very much so. So later in this video we'll have a side-by-side comparison of those two figures next to each other. But yeah, nothing too crazy here, so let's pull out the Hero Lawyer 2.0 and take my first in-person look at this figure. And ooh, some artwork on top, I like that. You got Matt, of course, walking down the street with his cane. And of course, all blind guys need their cane, of course. This, I believe, is my, oh, actually it's not, my second blind character, because I also have Kane from John Wick Chapter 4, but this packaging looks pretty good. The suit seems to be kept pretty damn well. So yeah, let's pop off the top of this, or just pull out the whole thing. Pull out this, anything down bottom. Nope, sometimes there is stuff tucked under bottom, but not this time. And it looks like we have a normal red unmasked Daredevil helmet, which is always a good touch. Maybe I can toss that in his hand like he's about to show it to Karen at the end of season 2. Karen, I can't keep this secret from you anymore. Ah! But I also wonder, it's hollow. I wonder if it slides on over the head at all. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see. But just pulling out Matt Murdock out of the box for the first time. Of course, his feet are cocked sideways for some reason. All Soosoo Toys figures come like that. Yeah, but his suit, he does seem very tiny. Like he does seem like a small guy, but maybe he just is a small guy. He's not necessarily the biggest of lads in real life. And his Matt Murdock likeness, it's not quite Hot Toys, but it does a pretty damn decent job. I think the best things I'm seeing on this head sculpt are the transition from hair to skin color to 5 o'clock shadow color, right? Like, because he doesn't have quite a beard, but he definitely has some stubble, so he, the skin tone changes a little bit. Of course, he's got that dead-eyed stare because he's blind. Gray suit, nothing too crazy. I'm not seeing the glasses. Oh, he comes with, it looks like a red pair of glasses, and then he comes with a black pair of glasses, and then he comes with his cane, which is certainly an accessory that I feel like all Matt Murdocks need. Comes with a couple of swap-out hands, some fists to be able to hold his cane, and then some hands that it looks like to be able to hold his glasses. Interesting. Oh, and then he also comes with a red DD logoed Daredevil base, and they're a little bit thicker, these Soosoo Toys bases, but they are still hexagon, and they normally put a pretty cool pattern on the top of them. So I actually appreciate your bases, Soosoo Toys. Thank you. And they come with a crotch grabber, which is always a plus, but nothing too much else to look at. Oh. Struggling. Okay, there we go. But nothing too much else to look at with this bad boy here, and we will take a closer, more up close and personal look at this figure for you guys, and we'll flip this camera around and I'll lay out all of his accessories out on the table for us in front of me, and we'll go through everything that the Hero Lawyer 2.0 from Soosoo Toys has to offer. All right, so we got Matthew Murdock, aka Daredevil, or should I say Soosoo Toys Hero Lawyer 2.0. And this figure is pretty damn good, you know, and like, especially with the glasses on, I think the head sculpt looks that much better. Although, you know, I wish the lenses were a little bit more red. They kind of are, but you can see the other ones too look even more black. But, you know, when they're just on the figure without like that proper lighting, they just kind of look black. But from certain angles, I think these are the red ones. But just the regular gray suit, the tie around the neck, the blind walking stick. Now that is a nice touch that we'll definitely talk about in a second. And then just some regular dress shoes. But down by the base, you can see his Daredevil mask that does not fit on his head, but he can definitely hold as if he's showing Karen that he is Daredevil, or, you know, maybe he just took off the Daredevil mask. But I love the red lenses on that helmet. As you can see, though, these are definitely like full metal glasses with the black lenses and like the little plastic on the end going over the ears. On the figure themselves, they do fit a little chunky, but on the head sculpt, they don't look too bad. It was almost like that head sculpt was designed for it. But I'm also curious to see if maybe these glasses would fit on my other Daredevil head sculpt over there on the shelf. But I guess we'll try that out in a moment. But as far as his hands down here, we have 2 fist hands, and then he has 2 hands for being able to like hold his cane in a more fancy way, I guess. And then he has just 2 regular gripping hands with the holes drilled through them for, you know, being able to hold the cane just like straight up and down. But then he has 2 relaxed hands on the figure that do fully capable of him being able to hold his cane here and the little rope that goes over the cane. But I absolutely love, you slide that off and it just bam magnets into position and you have a full 1/6 scale walking cane that is absolutely perfect, you know, and then it like, you know, can pull apart and collapse down just like the real cane. I was like, dude, that is more impressive than like anything I've seen recently. Like that accessory right there, and just how much it not only matches his walking stick, but it like just is a walking stick just shrunk down into miniature scale. Like that is so cool. And like, you know, I'm sure we can find out multiple different ways that Matt Murdock can pose with this bad boy. So why don't we do that next? Why don't we toss this bad boy into some poses and see what Matthew Murdock, aka the Hero Lawyer 2.0, is capable of. All right, everybody, we have Matt Murdock, the lawyer, aka Soosoo Toys Hero Lawyer 2.0, just spinning around on the turntable for us here, just standing straight up and down, just as he comes fresh out of the box. But I put his cane all folded up in his hand just to complete his look. And then I have Matt Murdock with no glasses on, and he's holding his glasses as if he's just taken them off, or maybe he's putting them on, and he's walking down the street with his cane. And then Matt Murdock with the glasses on and the cane over his shoulder, like he's activating some of that Daredevil fighting skills, and maybe somebody tried to jump him as the lawyer and he's ready to attack with that walking stick. But then in his final pose here, just because this figure doesn't come with all that many accessories either, I have him with the Daredevil cowl in hand and the walking stick in other, and the glasses on his face. And it's not a bad figure, and especially for a third-party figure, pretty damn good. And, you know, maybe the actual figure himself is slightly undersized, but as you can see, compared to the other Daredevils in my collection, you know, he doesn't look size-wise, you know, out of proportion. You know, Daredevil's a pretty small guy as is. But on the left, you can see the yellow and red Daredevil suit, the ketchup and mustard, if you would, from She-Hulk. And then on the right, we have the Netflix Daredevil series, Daredevil, but he has his Matt Murdock head sculpt on that came with the ketchup and mustard suit. So I'm very curious to see if that works out and we can swap the Matt Murdock head sculpts onto this lawyer figure. But I like the Soosoo Toys hexagon Daredevil base with the logo in the center much better than just like the concrete rectangle that comes with the Netflix Daredevil suit. I'm thinking I'm gonna be a diorama based type of guy or a hexagon based type of guy for the rest of my collecting, you know, and if it doesn't come with one of those, it's gonna be a miss for me. But at least this Soosoo Toys figure, as a third-party figure, comes with that walking cane that is actually a really good accessory, and then it comes with a unmasked Daredevil cowl. So even, you know, with the Matt Murdock head sculpt on the Netflix Daredevil suit, I could take that accessory of the half mask and go put that in his hand and complete that look, because that figure didn't come with an unmasked mask, you know what I mean? And neither did the ketchup and mustard, you know? So that's just a touch that, like, they could have used, but they didn't, you know? But I'm definitely curious to try out that Matt Murdock head sculpt on this new hero lawyer figure. So let's see what the Hot Toys head sculpt looks like on this third-party figure and see if it even is compatible. All right, the poses got kind of messed up, but I'll fix those after. But you can see the Hot Toys head sculpt on the Soosoo Toys figure, and the neck is just slightly too short for like where the neck connector meets. If you plug it in, I'm sure if I didn't plug it in and let it sit a little bit higher, maybe it would look a little bit more natural. But then you could see like what the Soosoo Toys head sculpt looks like on the Netflix Daredevil suit. And even that, you know, like couldn't necessarily get it to connect, and then the neck is slightly too long, so it looks a little out of proportion. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep the head sculpts where they were. But, you know, if you did want to do some type of swapping, this is what it would look like. But I do think the likeness as far as the Soosoo Toys figure isn't bad, but the Hot Toys one is way better, but maybe the neck could be slightly longer. Oh, right, back to normal head sculpts where they belong. Yeah, I think these look much better, you know, on the suited figure and then on the Netflix Daredevil suit, even though that isn't the head sculpt for that figure. That's the one that comes with the ketchup and mustard suit. But I just didn't think that that head sculpt looked that good on the ketchup and mustard. And I think that yellow cowl really does stand out as a very unique suit for Daredevil. And I'm so glad I have that in my collection. But now that I have a Wilson Fisk as well, and She-Hulk and some other Daredevil figures, why don't we toss these bad boys all on the shelf and see what they're looking like over there? Oh, right, ladies and gents, you can see the Hero Lawyer 2.0 front and center on this shelf, and I actually quite like this, you know, and we got the blind lawyer up front with his suit on, the Daredevil logo in the center, and the cane, and he's got the Daredevil cowl, like he almost just ripped it off of this Netflix Daredevil figure, even though his mask is still down there on the base, but he has the head sculpt from the yellow and red Daredevil from She-Hulk. And of course, behind both of them, we have She-Hulk herself, and she looks quite good. And you can see just how big she is, and now how big that Wilson Fisk is, because he is smaller than her, but as a normal human, not a Hulk, he's still a pretty big boy. You know, they don't call him the Big Boss Man 2.0 over at Soosoo Toys for no reason, you know. And the kingpin himself, Wilson Fisk, is definitely large and in charge. And maybe I should put like Hawkeye next to him, because technically that's his look from the Hawkeye series. But, you know, for now, this is how we got him, with Hawkeye from Age of Ultron and Black Widow over here, and then Black Panther's flanking the other side. But hopefully one day I'll have some more Daredevil figures, because we still have Daredevil Born Again Season 1 and 2 figures on their way. And then I'll also be unboxing the Punisher when his special presentation drops in May. And if you guys missed it earlier in the episode, I did mention that there is a Punisher special presentation trailer that just came out, and there's a breakdown currently up on the channel for that. If you would like to go check it out and support the channel, that would really be appreciated. And if you guys watch any of my videos beginning to end, drop a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for supporting. It really goes a long way to helping the channel, and I hope you guys enjoyed this unboxing video. I think that's it for me today. We got a trio of Daredevils here front and center with Kingpin and She-Hulk behind them. Love to see it, and I can't wait to see more of Daredevil Born Again again, season 2 breakdowns for that season so far have currently been up on the channel, so go check out those videos if you haven't, and help me out. Subscribe, hit those bells so you don't miss future Daredevil content and you get the notification when those come out. And if you've made it this far and you would like to chat more, you can send me your thoughts to my other social medias. Links for those down in the description below. But if you would like to support the channel, the best way of doing that is dropping a like on this video, commenting down below in the comment section, subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you guys hit that bell so you don't miss next weekend's figure unboxings and you get the notification when that comes out. Once again, my name's Big Cam, and I will see you gorgeous folks in the next video. Peace.